I'm with designer Sanjay Garg from Raw Mango. Sanjay, you just showcased at London Fashion Week. How was it?
Thank you, Ambika. Well, it was very overwhelming. I must say that we got a great response, and it's been wonderful.
Why was it overwhelming?
When I went there, I remember there are two friends of mine. The house is there for you. The guest listing, everyone asked like, okay, you should invite this and that. Every single museum helped us. Before I even reached there, everyone wanted to help us out in every whatever way, whatever capacity they could, and they literally did it. We had a house full for 350 guest list. There are people were standing, and then 100 of them we couldn't invite because the space was limited.
So, does it mean you're going to be opening a store in London?
Absolutely not. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm very happy with India and I'm really enjoying it here. My hands are full. I think its idea is that we showcase what we have to the world. It's not, store is nowhere in a plan like a recent time. Let's see what happens.
Tell me a bit about the clothes that we saw. I love the floral thing. What was it made of?
Well, you know that my relation with garden is not new at all. Also, you know, when I have my art fair event or any other event, I go myself to buy flowers. I've been to almost every single flower mandi in India. I think I always looked at the garden as so that how beautiful it is and how do we look at the flowers as Indian. And it's so much there in everyday life that you almost don't see it because it's so much there. As you can see, it's in a car or it's in a goddess or in a wedding or a politician or welcome, or it's not about even a class. You wear it every day in a gajra. You wear also buri najar na lage with the juti ki mala. It's so much there in many different forms. Scale varies, fragrance varies, the flower size and everything from north to top is very, very different.
And where did you decide to have the fashion show and why did you choose
Oh,
that venue?
venue was very interesting, but it's actually there was a horticulture site from 1930s or something. So it was kind of a flower mandi of Goras.
And why did you choose it?
As I said, we're looking for a flower mandi in London, and that's how I found out that location. It's like flower mandi from here goes to there.
How does the energy of London Fashion Week differ from showing in India?
All I can say that the buyers, which are less and less Indian Fashion Week these days, a lot of international publication has headquarters in London. So I think media and buyer makes the difference.
If you had to describe your collection in 3 words, what would it be?
Of course, India, I would say contemporary and garland.
Anushka Shankar as well as Shata Murthy wore your clothes. Tell us a bit about why they wore, what did you choose, did they choose?
No, they chose it very much. You know, Akshata wore this brocade beautiful skirt in a blue, which is made of like a toran, a pattern on it, which is like inspired from a garland. And she wore actually a Kanjivaram shirt that's made of a Kanjivaram fabric with the garland stitch on it in the neck. And you know, when I wear garland, I wear it this way. I don't have a long hair to wear a gajra, so I just wrap around either my neck or the sleeves. And I think exactly she chose that. Anushka was wearing a kind of a dress was inspired from a sari, which had a beautiful garland on a vertical garland, which is coming from the shoulder, and she wore with the blouse. Yeah.
Is there a particular textile or weave that became the hero of this collection? How the international media perceived it?
Yeah, I don't think they are aware of like that much of textiles in the detail, and we have also so many textiles. I'm sure they looked at as an Indian textile in totality rather than like specific textiles. I think they definitely understood embroidery versus textiles, yes, but not really one specific textiles now.
I love how you're educating the world about Indian textiles. Raw Mango is known for celebrating Indian craft. Which craft traditions did you spotlight this season?
I think I celebrated craftsmanship and the variety what we have of textiles. I did say that, you know, they know about our textile, but I think mainly they've been using embroidery.
Yeah.
I think the emphasis was that we don't only make jardojis. Embroidery is beautiful, and I think of course we need to celebrate it, but we have so much of different kind of textiles, you know. We are the second largest handloom producing industry in this country. So to emphasize was on that.
Tell me a bit about the weavers. I know they play a very important role in your collections and in your creations, but I know there was a time where the Patan Patola weavers were dying out. The next generation did not want to be weavers. Has that changed?
Okay, first of all, it has changed for some pockets wherever the work is happening, and I think the design have made some impact, as you were very aware of. like say Varanasi and Chanderi has improved, and as you said, Patan Patola, you saw it. They just don't need me. I think they need many more like me. And I don't think so I can touch upon in every single textile. If you have many more like me and they have their own point of view, and we have so many craft pocket, and of course it's going to work. And one other example is right now we are launching at Rewa, and Rewa is very beautiful handloom textile center part of India, which is like a neighbor, almost like a neighboring textile technique and the weaver community in Madhya Pradesh.
You said many more like you are required. Now there is Reva, there is yourself. Do you see many more cropping up? Do we see many more Sanjay Gargs coming up?
All have their own ways of doing it, whether it's a Pero or many more. I think handloom brands have come up in recently time, and I'm sure you have noticed it. That's what I meant. It doesn't have to be like a designer, it can be a community or.
Do you think international fashion audiences are understanding textiles better? Did the journalists ask you, oh, that was brocade and that was jamdani, or you didn't have such detailed questioning?
We did have some questioning for sure. No,
So
no,
you,
no.
are they understanding
They
Indian textiles?
understand, but we should not be that proud of that. We should be proud of that at least that we, without exporting, there are Indian handloom textiles which are worn by us, and that's how they survive. I think the first question on us is that how do we wear it and how do you make it sustain without supporting them? I think if they support it, it's great, but I don't think so. That's the whole idea is. I think that can happen, in like a bonus on top of it. But I think we need to wear it more, and that's how we're going to survive.
If someone is buying their first raw mango piece, what should it be?
I think it depends on personality. What is the individuality? Do they relate to them with sari or a piece of a brocade or a blouse or a jacket or a langa or a kurta? It will be forced if I just say that thing. I think one need to look at it how much they can wear it. I think they need to wear it often to buy the second piece.
You said we all need to support the craft. So the question is, raw mango is defined by Indian textiles, which are widely celebrated today. But as we discussed, artisans are suffering economically. Do you think the fashion industry romanticizes crafts more than it actually supports it? Or do you think there's...
I mean, there are all kind of scenarios and stories. I'm sure some does and some does this too, honestly. If there is a designer, what is the impact he or she bringing on to that particular craft pocket? If they just remain as a trader and just as a fabric, sourcing, limited to that, then what you're saying is absolutely right, is romanticizing. If they are making difference more than fabric sourcing, then it's wonderful.
There's a growing global fascination with Indian aesthetics. What was your view on Prada making the Kolhapuri chappals?
I did not think it was that we need to create that kind of fuss on that. We also, in India, we are the first one who do not credit anyone for any design. It's the biggest copy market. I don't know how do we ask and we get so offended where every day there's so much of from bags to trouser to shirt. Isn't it everything Western? How much credit we are giving to them? I understand that they could have given the credit, but we should not be that offended, at least that in India, where people take a pride to buy something fake.
Do you ever worry about Indian craft becoming a trend rather than a respected tradition?
Well, that is on our shoulder. I think the trend, how do we trend remain sustainable? How do you sustain a trend? With a continuous effort to say many more stories within that one craft. I think this is where the design education and designers, right? There are houses, as you can see in the Europe, to Prada, to Versace, to Dior, to right, many, many more. And how have they survived for 150 years? I think that's an interesting question that it's not just a one story. How do you tell a story every year?
Raw mango has stayed very true to its philosophy for years. In a market obsessed with constant reinvention and newness, have you ever felt the pressure to compromise that vision?
No compromise, but I did feel pressure all the time, and that is the reason I think I stepped back, not showing every year, honestly. If you have noticed, I've only done 5 shows in 17 years. I think that answers well enough that, of course, everyone feels that pressure. And when people do not know what textile is, they wanted that it looks similar to what I have bought. So, no offense. I think again, I need to believe in myself and craft that can we create something beautiful and different, and how does it sustain in a way that how the person, he or she is buying and how they're wearing it every day, how many times they get to wear out of it.
If you had the power to change one thing about the global fashion system's relationship with Indian craft, what would it be?
Give them enough flat like a credit. There's nothing wrong if they take our craftsmanship. I think if we become, like made in Paris and made in Italy is such a pride and symbol of luxury in India. I hope that happened in the Western market. I think that day yet to come. Taken as like a seal of luxury or goodwill and trust.
I heard the music at your fashion show in London and it was amazing. I know you're known for your parties and your music, but how did you kind of put together
Well,
that
he was here
music?
last night. Suryakant was here. He did it. He
Okay.
did my Raw Mango 10th year album for Raw Mango, which is called Ghar.
Yeah.
So I have a long collaboration. We were working already in advance, but I went to his home in London and we did it. He's wonderful.
And how long did it take for you to come up with that music? And which is your
A month
favorite
time.
bit of music?
Bhavre ne khilaya full.
All right.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much.